And the middle child in me, because I'm a middle child.
Yeah. That's interesting because I purposefully stayed away from the topic.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, you know how like when people get together, they are connected by the hip and people don't even associate themselves separate.
I agree.
That's what I was trying to do. But,
yeah.
You know, I hope he didn't get in trouble from it.
I mean, I don't think that he got in trouble per se, but like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe because like, I wouldn't say I'm super traditional, but I'm like fake traditional, like fake untraditional of like being, because everybody always challenges the fact that like, I say I'm from the South, but people don't consider Florida the South, right? You'd be surprised.
That is literally.
It's literally the South,
Yeah.
especially like Pensacola and like the Panhandle. But I'm from Central Florida, which I feel is like the last of the South before you get to like Miami, which is like not the South. Because I lived in Miami for like 3 months, and then I lived in Fort Lauderdale for almost 2 years before I moved up to Chicago.
So okay, so you grew up in Florida.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I picture Florida a particular way.
I know, and I think it's crazy also too because I was watching something on Instagram of like a popular, I guess, comedian, or maybe I don't know if that person's like considered popular or whatever, but they were asking random people about like how many House of Representatives there are in like the Senate, or not the Senate, but like whatever, Congress. I
Politics.
don't know. Yes, basically. I feel like I always knew the answers to those. So I would say like being in Florida, like I feel like I learned a lot of things that I feel like a lot of people from other states didn't necessarily know. So I wouldn't, maybe because people think that people from Florida are like smart asses.
I mean, my perception of Florida has always been insane.
Yeah, but I always say that. I mean, I love Florida, and I haven't lived there for 4 years now, going on 5. I would say a lot of people from Florida are from different places. So it's a melting pot, essentially, and I think that's what makes it so insane that, like, a lot of people from, like, New York, specifically, New York, New Jersey, they come down, it's cheaper. They live in Florida, and they're assholes up there, and they come down being assholes mixed with like, I mean, I would just say like, I don't know, Florida people, we are an interesting bunch.
So you still rep Florida even though you've been in Chicago?
I mean, yeah, I definitely do. In some ways, I probably like, I would never rep the Chicago Bears. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I feel like, you know, the Chicago Bears are like a bad boyfriend that everybody's just really loyal to. Like, I don't know, like they must have like good dick or something. But like, I don't know. It's like they're that bad. Like, you know, I don't know.
I don't know shit about sports, but I do hear the Bears. Our teams. We have. Okay, let me break this down. We got the Cubs, the Bears, the Sox, the Bulls, and the Blackhawks. And the Bears, I hear. All I know is that they keep losing, and that one SNL bit, the Bears. Those are the only two things I know about the Bears. And then I know that the Cubs. I can't stand Cubs games.
Oh yeah, I mean that's traffic.
Yeah, as soon as when I get on the CTA, I'm like, oh okay, all y'all motherfuckers came out from other states to go to the Cubs game. I don't like that, and I don't know shit about the Blackhawks.
It's a national brand. Like, I grew up being a Cubs fan, being from Florida, because my dad was a Cubs fan.
Is he from out here?
No.
Weird.
My
Okay.
dad did not come to Chicago until he helped me move here. But because they have a very interesting story of, do you know the story about the Cubs? So
this is about to
basically,
get real.
yeah. So basically, in
So
like,
do you want me to move that, or are you good?
oh no, I like this. I
Okay.
can move it. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the Cubs, there was like a person that was wanting to go to the game, and he had a pet goat. For real. And they didn't want to let him in.
Wait, what year was this?
This was like in the 1900s. It had to have been I think it was like 1900 something.
Okay,
I'm not gonna don't quote me.
If it was like
honest.
the 60s, I was like,
No.
of course they didn't let him in with a goat.
Yeah,
All
this
right,
was
all right,
like
fair
in
enough.
the like when people didn't have like
They made their own milk in the backyard. And shit. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, basically. And so the guy said, if you don't let me and my goat in, you won't win a World Series for like 100 years. And so they did not win a World Series for quite some time. They didn't win a World Series until 2016. And
he put a hex on him.
yeah, basically. So like that's why if you look into like the Cubs like story, like it's a very underdog like type of story, which I guess my dad was attracted to. I don't know, but he was a Cubs fan, and I grew up being a Cubs fan, and like I'm biracial, so my mom is white and my dad is black, and so my mom's side, like her sister and her husband, were also Cubs fans as well. So I don't know how they specifically were Cubs fans, because they were, well, my aunt, I don't know where my aunt was born, because my mom, her father was in the Navy, so like he was in Pearl Harbor and shit like that. So yeah, just very old.
Yeah, there's history there.
Yes, a
I
lot,
get you.
a lot.
And why did you move to Chicago?
Ooh, okay. So at the time, this was like 2019. I had just finished grad school, and I was already working full time in my second year, and I was very depressed. Like,
What did you study for?
so it was. Honestly, I should give myself more credit, but I think it was the lamest. Master's degree is basically college student affairs. So basically being someone that works at a college campus at a higher level. So like somebody that like works with college students, specifically. Ooh, I got gas. Specifically, I wanted to work with students because I had a really good experience in college in residence life. And so I definitely saw working in residence life as a way of like helping students. And the school that I got hired here for was a school in the south suburbs. And like the students, they were like first generation. Like you could tell that they like, you know, have been through some things in life, and like I just really wanted to be like a mentor. Like I really have that like mentor, like nurturing mom type thing going on. I should have worn my sweater I just got in the mail today. It's a future MILF. I'm gonna wear it on stage tomorrow, but I'm a very nurturing person, and I just have this like mom shit about me. Like if people drink and stuff, I'll be like, here, drink some water. You should, you know, you need to take care of yourself. Or like if people smoke, like I know when I smoke and I get anxious, I chew gum. And so if I'm like around people, I'm like, hey, chew some gum. Oh no, I'm fine now. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to be hospitable.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess that's the Florida in me. Yeah. I don't know.
So you were in college studying, and it was a job thing essentially.
Well, that, and just like with college to grad school, like I think that I kind of like sold myself short. I was like, oh, like I don't want to do anything else. I think this would be the easier route to take. So I think that learning that like sometimes taking easier routes is not going to get you to where you want to go. And so I kind of learned that, I think, the hard way, like in my mid-20s, because although like I got a job here, it did like land me to like some other experiences that I'm really like grateful for. So I moved here for a job, moved here for cannabis because I knew it was going to be legal in 2020.
Was it not legal in Florida?
No, it was only medically.
But you're doing coke and shit down there, are you not?
Well, I've only done coke once, and that was I was peer pressured, and I didn't like it. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Weed was gonna be legal. It worked out for your job and just life.
And I wanted to start comedy, but I also say it was the 3 C's, because at the time I was dating women. So I dated a woman, and it was my first experience, and it was also her first experience, and so it was very different than, you know, like my past experiences with men. And so it did shift the way that I looked at like dating and then just living in a city like this.
I've written a lot of things down so I don't forget. But the first thing, dating, that was your first time dating a woman. How old were you?
24.
24. Okay, so kind of like a late bloomer.
Yeah, she was too. She was like 27.
So what made you like how did that end up happening? Did you always have those feelings? Like what happened?
I mean, I always knew I was a little gay.
Just like a little bit.
Yeah, just
Okay.
I mean, I'm attracted to women, but like the way that like my life is now, like I'm in a monogamous relationship with a man, so like, and I always feel like when people invite stuff into their relationship, then like usually it like sticks or like doesn't always go well. I've seen it happen many times. Yeah, no. I think when I first saw her, I was like really like whoa, like
Yeah.
I hope she's kind of gay. And she most definitely was. Like she's dating, or she's engaged to a woman now. So
Hey, congrats to her.
I know, yeah.
My ex is a lesbian. I found out. We figured that out.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Yeah. So she's with someone right now, and she seems very happy. But what was you were saying that there was like it felt different dating a woman versus a man?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's it feeling?
I think that like sometimes there was just things that like that person could kind of pick up faster than sometimes a man would, like emotionally. Like I think that there was a little bit more passion sometimes of like and comfort and like again nurturing. I guess like that was a thing. Like it felt like somebody liked me nurturing them. Excuse me. Like I've had men, a lot of times I think sometimes with men, they're wanting to be nurtured can be like sexual almost, or like, yeah, like sometimes it is genuine for some men, but I've kind of had experiences of men just being like just sexual.
Why do you think that is?
I hate when people say this is in their nature and men just being men, but I mean, I guess that's
On some biological level, that's just kind of what it is.
I guess so.
That's fair. And then, okay, so you moved to Chicago for all of these reasons, and comedy was one of them, which means you weren't doing it in Florida.
I started here.
So and you moved here, was it 2019,
2019. It was 6 months before the pandemic.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Yeah.
So you're 6 months pre-pandemic. Obviously, you don't know a pandemic's about to happen, and you don't know anybody.
I knew my ex, but we had broken up right before I moved here.
This girl. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are just fresh out of a breakup. Outside of that, you don't know anybody, and the inklings of COVID starts to come up. So what happened? What was your experience of it?
I mean, so toxic Andrye, because I used to be really, it was very toxic. We ended up kind of intertwining ourselves back into each other's lives. And the first bit of COVID, like we were kind of together every day. So we were together, and then we got back together, and then we broke up again.
Sounds exhausting.
And then we did it all over again a couple months later, and then it just finally ended. And then months later, that's when I met my person. So
Current person.
yes.
Okay. Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
So, new to comedy while meeting a comic date, people always view that as kind of sticky.
Oh, we had lots of conversations about that. Like, I think when I was starting comedy, a lot of times men would, again, like I could help you, mentor you, we could hang out, that kind of thing. And so like, I think that some men, again, might like see like, this might be an opportunity to like kind of go in. But I think that like when it came to like Kadeem, he was very different as far as like his what he was doing. It aligned with a lot of like what I wanted to do because I was new.
In career or in personality? What do you mean?
So I would say the shows that he was producing were shows that I wanted to produce, like the way that the format was. Also, too, just it seemed like the interest of things, like even the background of like his education, like it attracted me that he had his master's degree because I have one, and I felt like I know that like when I would date guys or like they like maybe didn't like finish college or graduate college, I kind of seen that as like I have a little bit more, I guess, power or dominance over them. And so like when I met him, I kind of felt like it was like my equal, almost like we were on the same playing field, because I think a lot of times some women will try to date out of their league. I feel like I'm like right where I'm supposed to be with this person. Like we could build on to what we already have.
Balance.
Yes.
I get you. That's that flag's for.
That's the Libra in me.
Yeah. That's that spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I can see, obviously I don't know Kadeem nearly as well as you do, but in talking to him, intelligent and respectful would be the two adjectives I would describe.
Extremely. You know what I mean? No, I agree. Even with his parents, like, I think that the way he speaks with his parents, like, he still says yes ma'am, yes sir, all that stuff.
That's
like
some Southern boy shit.
I know his own twin brother doesn't do that, but like, you know, like, he's very respectful, and so like it's very attractive that he's very respectful. So
in your experience, and I believe when you describe male comics being like, oh, you want to learn some comics? I can help you out. You know, we can go to the bar or whatever. Like, yeah, I can sign you up. Like, I can see them doing that, and I can see his approach not being that. So good for him.
Yeah.
And have you always been like in male dominated spaces?
Absolutely. So that's what I was going to say too. Like, I was always viewed as like a bro, kind of, even before like I dated the woman. I feel like in my jobs where it would be, if it was all men, like we would all like hang out, or like just certain situations, it would just be all guys, or like most of my male friends are gay. I don't know what it is. I like, but it just, we're
but
just
not the LGBTQ vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like my best friend is a gay male.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
And I consider him like my soulmate, if you would. Like
I don't think a soulmate has to be romantic.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
Well, there's oh fuck, I used to talk about this shit a lot. I think I talked about it on stage. That like a soulmate could be your brother, your sister, your romantic partner, whatever, your mom, a friend from like your soulmate isn't sexual, but your
twin flame. Is that the one that's? I don't think that's sexual.
No, I don't think that's sexual either. That's more like that's like soulmate adjacent to me. But
yeah,
regardless, you know when people get high and they get anxious.
Yeah.
Anytime I do this podcast and I smoke with people, that's the time when I'm like, it's falling apart, man. This is boring to people. Like, oh yeah, you good? You need
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Like when did you start smoking?
Okay.
So you're a professional.
No. Okay, so funny thing is, the first person I ever smoked with was my mom. At 17, my white ass mom, she said, come down. Yeah. She said, come downstairs, because at the time I was also somebody I'm a very headstrong person. I'm ambitious. I want to get shit done. Sometimes, not all things, but at the time I wanted to get school done. I was done with school, like over it. So I took a extra class online to like finish, or not finish, but like have space in my schedule to do like leave early. So I took this class. I was stressing about it, this online class. My mom was like, come downstairs. She was smoking a joint in the backyard. I smoked with her. Did you know
she smoked before?
I think I did, but when I found out, I got upset for some reason, because all those, those fucking school.
Say no to dope. Yeah.
Yeah, they rile you up to be upset. And then I smoked with my mom. I smoked with my mom. I did it a couple more times, but I didn't necessarily fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And I would smoke pretty regularly, like when I got to grad school, because that was stressful as fuck. But learning how to navigate anxiety, like when taking drugs or doing drugs, like regardless if it's like smoking, edibles, or any other thing, can be
healthy.
Very healthy, especially because if you then choose to have people do those things with you, it's better for you to kind of learn how to help yourself so you can help others. Because I have been in situations where it's like we're with people that are smoking, or you're letting people try it for the first time. It's kind of, this is a bad comparison, but it's almost like when guys are like really weary about having sex with virgins, because they're like, oh, like if I have sex with this person,
it's gonna become
they're gonna be like,
Man.
That was a weird analogy, but like that was the only one that was the one I thought
you
of.
Hang out with dudes, I get it. You're when you said you were nurturing, I'm getting that. I'm feeling that vibe, man. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Man, I got so much I got written down here. Toxic. How do you pronounce your name?
Andrye.
Andrye. Toxic Andrye. Mm-hmm. What was Toxic Andrye like?
Well, she kind of lives here still, but I think that, she's getting worked on daily, weekly, whatever. But I would say, like, Toxic Andrye was somebody that, like, well, I kind of went through a lot, like, in, like, my life in my 20s. Like, I lost my sister at 23. So, like, a lot of times I was kind of looking for love in, like, the wrong places. And I think that when people, like, laughed at, like, my jokes and shit, I don't know. Attraction is weird. It's so strange. But basically, like, toxicity runs in my family, actually. I would say, like, if I was, like, dating someone or if I was in a relationship with someone and I had someone, like, in my past that I was still kind of attracted to, I would, like, step out of the relationship. So it was something that ran in my family. And funny enough, like, when my dad was encouraging me whenever I was, like, nervous or anxious, he would always say, like, you're a fucking Austin. Like, you're an Austin. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But that meant more than just, like, building me up. It was also like, you're these things too. Like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
What? So you would say that. Trying to piece it all together.
It's okay. It's a lot. I'm a lot.
I didn't know you were. This is the thing. Yeah, we're gonna go all over the place in this one. Sorry, sorry, Derek. Derek Strong listens to this. And
really?
Yeah. There's actually a little bit of there's like roughly 70 to 100 people that listen every time. It feels good.
Yeah.
I am a lot as well, and I feel like when I'm out in public, I feel like, man, I don't want to bother nobody. And I feel like that also comes off as rude. Like, last time I saw you, I'm sure you don't remember, and I'm sure it didn't matter to you, but I thought I, like, was rude.
Why? When was this?
We were at the Laugh Factory. This was for the Spice shit. And I think my health insurance is like, hey, man, you don't have health insurance anymore. That's another story. This is gonna be a weird one.
That's okay.
but we were at the what was it called?
It's the Stand the Heat. This is one of Kadeem's shows. This was what, like, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. I saw you. I think you said, like, it was my set was good or whatever, and I was like, thank you, and I left. And I just left very abruptly, and I always do that, and I always feel like I'm being rude. Oh
no! You know what's crazy is, like, I feel like people feel that way, but, like, if you gotta fucking go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's not like I know you where I can text you and be like, hey, are you okay? Sure. So I think that, like, you did what you did, like, you did what that's what I would have done if I didn't, like, know you, Sure. Like, I don't know, maybe as humans sometimes we feel like we owe people stuff and we don't necessarily owe people things. Yeah.
I think that's because of where I grew up. Speaking of white mom, this will connect a little bit because I grew up around a lot of white people, very conservative, in my opinion, very racist. Why am I saying in my opinion? I know they were very racist.
Yeah,
but very, it was a lot. And I think to people pleasing to survive was, like, a big part of what got ingrained in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you are different. You're very different than what I expect you to be.
Really? What did you think I was gonna be like?
I don't know. Like, we've never had a conversation in it's been like 2 years. I see you around.
I think I remember us having one conversation, but I think, again, this is at Laugh Factory, and this was, like, me in the beginning of, like, I think doing open mics at Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how deaf people are racist. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And then I just remember seeing you from a distance. Like, I remember, I don't know if you were just going through a breakup or something, but like you got on stage and then you stormed off, and I was like, well, I guess he's going through something right now. This is like Taylor Street tap.
Yeah.
You this was when it was cold outside, so I was like, this man must be upset. I told Kadima, I was like, who hurt him? What's going on? But I didn't know you enough to ask you, like, hey, what the fuck is going on? Because I usually, if I know somebody, I'm like, hey, like, do we need to have coffee and sit down or something?
Future reference, you're welcome to now ask me.
Okay.
By all means, at any point.
I was very concerned.
And that must have been when we first met. Or not when we first met. That must have been when I first moved here. I assume, because if that's Taylor Street.
Yeah.
That was when I was living in Pilsen.
Okay.
Was I talking about my girlfriend at the time? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think you were. And that's what led me to, you were talking about, okay, now that my memory is jogging a little bit more.
Did the set go well? Was it funny?
I don't know if it was a set. I think you were having a therapy session.
Yeah, I was having a moment. Yeah.
I think what maybe occurred was like, you talked about like y'all moving here together and living together and how you made a mistake. And I was like, fuck.
I remember this.
And I was concerned because, again, I know people. I've moved here for kind of love was maybe like 20% of why I moved here. But again, a lot of people make that jump to, move to another city for a loved one or with a loved one. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that does not work. And I've seen it happen a lot.
I will explain that now.
Okay, go ahead.
2 years later, you're getting the context.
Okay, good.
So, me and my girlfriend at the time, we started dating, and I would describe it as a survival relationship. This is amidst COVID. In the middle of it, I was like half homeless, and we're trying to figure out, we're poor, trying to work. It was crazy shit.
Yeah.
And we just kind of
trauma bonded.
Basically.
Oh, that's the worst.
But we knew each other. We had known each other for like 10 years. I'd met her in the interpreting program.
Okay.
And we were immediately connected then. This is without trauma. Like, we immediately connected, and then her life is her life. I don't put it on the podcast. Life happens with her, and then she comes back to California. She was out of the country. It was a whole thing. We both knew we needed to escape Riverside. Chicago ended up being the decision. And we knew, like, this was a new relationship.
I was going to ask, how long were y'all together?
Fuck, like.
If you say 3 months, I'm going to smack the shit out of you.
Like, shit. When we decided for Chicago, I want to say 6, 7.
Do you know how many people I know do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's like honeymoon stage.
But we never, that was the thing. We didn't have a honeymoon stage. Because it was, we were just surviving, and we knew that. It was very self-aware. So self-aware that when we came out here, we got a 2-bedroom. We were like, you have your bedroom.
So you were roommates.
We were pretty
that we're dating.
Yes, we understood the severity of the decision we're making here, and we understood that, like, if we break, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And we like a month and a half in, it was over. But it was all good because she was works in a coffee place, and so her hours are early.
Different.
Like, we didn't even really see each other. We would check in every day. It was fine. I love her to death. She's great.
Yeah.
So there was no. That day was probably stressful.
Yeah. It seemed very much so because you had your Timberlands on, and I was like, damn. Oh no. I don't know if you're picking up. I'm sure you picked up on it. I'm a pretty emotional person, and it's. I think on one hand, artistically, I think it's good because, emotions and art, but it does leave you open. It leaves you open for, attack is not the right word, but it leaves you vulnerable. When you're like the way this podcast is structured is super open. Yeah. And so it leaves vulnerabilities for not only me, but the person I'm talking to. It's a weird experience. I don't know what I'm saying. What were we talking about? I mean, I agree with you on that. Flipping it back to like a comedy situation that happened. Yeah. I did a show where it was like it was around my birthday last year, and it was like I had to wear lingerie, and I had a heckler, and I could tell it was first of all, I saw the person before the show started in Walgreens across from where the venue was. Were you already in the... No. Okay. But her dude was like looking at me but I don't think she knew that. But it was just like, you could tell like when people like purposely like throw shit out to like try you, but like sometimes I have anger issues.
Ooh, okay.
I'm a very spicy person. If especially because when I was younger, it was always like, Andrew, you need to do this. Andrew, you need to stand up for yourself. You need to do this. You need to stop being a pushover. And then I think I just got to a point in my 20s where it was like, anger is your friend. You need to use more of her, you know? So
do you feel like people would try to take, because your nurturing side, would people try to take advantage
Oh,
of?
fuck yeah. And now I'm at a different point in my life where like I'm trying to learn how to not be so, like I used to be, you know, way over hospitable. I don't know if that's the word, but like I used to try to be like, hey, like I'll drive you here, I'll drive you there. Like I don't have a car now. Yes, yeah. Very much so. Like the Kia boys got me, but they didn't get me. If that makes sense.
What? Wait, what?
I had a Kia Soul.
Oh, okay.
The Kia boys got me. They threw a brick in my shit, but they didn't take the car because it was already a piece of shit. I was trying to get my catalytic converter replaced. So I got a second job to like make more money on the side or whatever. And I ended up selling my car because I was just like, the window's broken.
So you don't have no. So you have to take the red line all the way down?
No. I mean, this is where this is. That was the spice, yeah.
No.
So Kadeem and I are sharing a car, his car. Yeah. I mean, it's an adjustment for sure because I'm an adult, but I'm not used to sharing per se. I know I'm in a relationship, but a lot of times it's like people like to have their own stuff. Like I like to be the one to be mobile when I'm able to be mobile, not necessarily like, hey, you're going to use the car this day. You got to be back by this time. Like I don't like, especially because that's his. Yeah, it's his. If it was ours, it'd be different. But I had my own. He has his own. And I
have a question.
Yeah.
God damn it! This is all over the place.
I'm scatterbrained for sure.
Same. You were asking me what I thought you were going to be like. I wasn't expecting you to be as like bubbly and sweet.
Really?
I was expecting you to be pretty no nonsense, like very blunt, and not that you're not blunt now, but like quieter almost. That's what I was expecting, and this is why I like the podcast, because when I see people out in comedy land, you're not the same person as you are in a different, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just never sat down and talked with you.
Yeah.
So I just assumed you were very quiet, but I was
mistaken. I was gonna say, I think because like comedy is essentially like a job.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, it's a job almost to where like people have access to us. Like we're sharing our flyers, we're sharing where we're gonna be. Like anybody could come to these shows. So like I'd rather you come to a show, see me on stage, we could chat for a little bit, but if you like genuinely want to be my friend or get to know me, like it's different. Like there's boundaries, and boundaries are set in place for you to have healthy, like, I guess, facets in life. Like I'm different at work. I'm different when I work from home.
Yeah.
I'm different out and about at Laugh Factory or Lincoln Lodge or anywhere, because I know also too that a lot of times as a like bubbly person or like somebody that's a people person, that my battery does drain.
Same. That's why so that day when I left, that's what I always do everywhere all the time. Anyone that knows me is like, yeah, Aaron's going to sign up for the mic and he's going to go.
Yeah.
I do not have the energy.
I feel that.
Yeah. And I think I come off like a fucking asshole when I don't have the energy.
No, but you know what's crazy is that I think a lot of times a lot of comedians, maybe comedy is the only thing that they're doing. You said you work. I work.
Yeah.
I have a second job now, so I really don't necessarily have time to like be talking to everybody, and sometimes like just to even like have a moment to yourself, like sit on the couch, maybe take a bubble bath, like watch TV, like that's not.
You got bubble bath space? Oh, y'all killing it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yes. We have 2 bathrooms, but like the bottom stair, the one downstairs is a walk-in,
See,
which
this is what
I'm not a
happens
fan of.
when 2 people have master's degrees. This is
Well,
what
no,
you get.
that's not what happened. Although, like, I probably shouldn't share that. But like, you know,
you don't have to share nothing. If you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No, it's not bad per se. It's just
I
like,
want Kadeem mad at me for whatever.
oh, he wouldn't be mad. He made a joke about it, which I was like, yikes. But you know, it is what it is. I just know that I like when I want something and I manifest it, like I'm gonna do any and everything I can to make it happen and make sure that like it stays nice or like this is that. Yeah.
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 Do you know Run the Jewels?
No. What is that?
Run the Jewels?
No.
Music, great music. What type of music do you listen to?
Oh, jeez. So this is where the bubbly side gets thrown out. I like a lot of trap shit.
Okay. My pussy pink, my booty hole brown.
No, actually not that. That's Gen Z stuff. I mean, that's cute to say. Like, I think it's cute, like, if we were to go out and, like, do it together. Like, that's music that brings people together.
Sure.
And also makes trends on Instagram.
Sure does.
But I guess, like,
that angry shit.
Like, Migos, like, in college, like, that shit was, like, really, like, okay. Although that shit does not apply to my life at all. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not living that life, but you can enjoy it. You know
I can.
I will play when we wrap up. I'll play Run the Jewels while we're.
Yeah, I would like that.
I'm about to see him on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm excited. But
okay. What era of music is Run the Jewels from?
Now.
Okay.
Killer Mike and LP. Killer Mike.
Okay.
You know Killer Mike.
Yeah.
It's him and LP from New York.
Oh, okay.
And Run the Jewels is just them together.
Oh, okay.
Yikes. God,
I should have known that, but I think for me, I'm also like an R&B girl too. I like the trap R&B. I like the toxic artists, even though again that shit does not apply to my life. But there was a time.
Entertainment's entertainment.
It is absolutely.
It is interesting. Can you elaborate on what you mean by traditional? Because
yeah, I guess what I mean is traditional is like the man, the woman, the house type shit, like getting married, having kids, because ultimately that's what kind of led me out of like wanting to pursue more women or pursue dating more women, because ultimately I know that I'm at a place in my life where like being married and having kids is like the next step for me. Like I do see myself as a parent, although like with the climate of the world, like it is kind of selfish to bring children in the world, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which that's the debate that I have with myself all the time of like, or also too, like that's essentially like children are great, but that's a commitment and a bill. Lots of bills.
I think a lot of people like, ooh, get ready. I'm about to rant on some shit.
Let's go.
Krishan and Blueface.
It's terrible.
Fucking disgusting.
I cannot stand it because that's giving such a bad example of just having a relationship, and like now you are a second baby mama essentially. Yeah. Like he's gonna have to split his time between, you know, the other person and you, and now this is just disgusting. It's toxic. It's real disgusting.
And my thing is not even the baby mama thing for me. It's that they're putting it all online.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't. I think a lot of people before they have kids, they're not processing the idea that it's not gonna be a baby forever. Like it's gonna become a human, person in society. This kid's gonna look back and see what the fuck
that his parents were doing. But the fact is that he posted his baby's genitals online. That's disgusting.
I heard about that. What
and
happened?
Then tried to say that like his phone got hacked, yada yada yada. It's like nobody. You are a celebrity. Who's hacking your phone? You know what I'm saying? That's disgusting. I think that like that person should go to jail for a long time, or at least should not, you know, be registered as a sex offender, because that's. But that's not the first time he's displayed this kind of behavior. Like he asked his son, you know, like, are you gay? Because he had women dancing. You know, that's we're trying to, and I feel like these outlets on social media are displaying this, and it's like you're minimizing all the good stuff, all the good black dads, or like the good dads period, and or what a good dad should look like. Because I'm also someone, I didn't have a absent father, but I had a when it was convenient father, if that makes sense. Like, he was around, but he still did what he wanted to do. And so, like, my relationship with him is very strained, and it did affect me and, like, how I looked at men and, like, how I dated men and that kind of thing.
How do you look at men now?
I mean, I think that there's some good men out there, but, like, I also don't trust men, per se, but because I've also experienced a lot of men that feel, or men that just kind of feel like they can kind of just do what they want, or like they can have their cake and eat it too. But a lot of women now are showing men that they could also do that as well, and then that's where that toxic stuff can kind of come in too. But I also see over here people that are like healthy, or just but like living the polygamous lifestyle. I see that work, but I also don't see like the parts where like it probably could possibly be bad. Like, they don't show enough of that.
I'm learning about, I guess, a little bit about me. Okay, I'm gonna open up. Since you've learned about your relationship. Yeah, my ideal relationship is a triad.
Okay.
So it's me and 2 women.
Okay.
And those women can be cis or trans.
Okay.
Preferably black.
Okay. Okay.
Like, pretty much black.
Yeah.
Yeah, black. And I was talking to these 2 girls, and we're all talking. And it was an interesting, like, there's the obvious, like, sexual aspect of it, but I was trying to, and I communicated this with them. I was trying to figure out what it is about this dynamic that makes sense to me outside of sex. And it was, I think, to summarize it in a word so far, from what I've understood, it's community.
Okay.
Like, I think community is something that's just really important to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Why did I bring that up?
Yeah, but I want to know why community. I believe community is important too, but there are different types of community. So what community are you referring to? Like a family unit, per se? Or are you referring to a romantic unit?
Ooh, a little bit of both. I think that's what works for me about it. It's like, financially, you're looking real good. 3 people, like, just. I
mean, are you all planning on living together, or are you gonna have your own place? Because I watch all the polygamy shows. Yeah. Like, one of my favorite, the one I was watching is Brother Husband, because.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wait. So okay. So my name is not common. Obviously, whenever I tell people I'm like Andrye, not Andrea. My major in college was sociology, and so one of the terms that I learned was polyandry, which had my name in it, and I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck?
Science
and
of the universe,
it was
man.
a woman
with
multiple husbands.
How did that work? Are they straight? Are they bi? Are they?
No, so it's just the woman being like the
head of the, yeah.
Yes. I mean, obviously, like, that would be a dream, but but like, or, I don't know. I think that, like, everybody kind of wants to be powerful, like, in a good way in their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Because I think power just gives you, like, more confidence in a sense of, like, ooh, like, I got it. Like, if I had 2 men, I'd be like, I'm that bitch. Like, I don't know. Like, ooh, I don't know. Like, that's probably how men feel when they have multiple women, or he might feel like he's being taken care of. But it's like, that's where the roles get mixed.
I want to get into this.
Okay, go ahead.
So first off, the whole power thing, I've come to realize, like, that's not really what it is for me. Like, when I say, like, 2 women, there's this immediate thing of, like, you think you Mufasa, you got a harem at, like, you think you the king of the castle, and that's not what it is. It truly is like a working together. Yeah, I can lead the pack in the right context, in the right situation, but I don't need to be the leader all the time. Yeah. And other people have things to say, and if you work together, like, it just makes sense to me.
Okay.
And the oh, god damn it, what did you say? You said
with the roles?
With the roles and feeling powerful. Yeah, it's not that.
Really?
No.
So Usually when guys though they talk about like, with two women, it's usually the threesome thing. Like that's the first thing that kind of comes from their mouth. And
that's not what it is to me.
It's not? Okay, that's
don't get me wrong, that's
intriguing.
A factor.
Okay.
That's like relationships are complicated. There's things that you like for certain reasons and things you don't like for certain reasons. Yeah, sure. Sexually, yeah, that's awesome, cool. But you're like 90% of your day isn't having sex. Is like you have other shit to do.
That's true.
And to me, people are thinking, when I say it, people immediately think that like, I mean, I want this girlfriend and this girlfriend. No, it's a try. It's
yeah, you have to work together.
You have to work together.
That's hard though.
Yeah, but people in monogamous relationships cheat on each other, and bullshit happens. So like,
that's true.
If all parties are on the same page and there's good communication, you're good.
That's true.
In the same way, what's Kadeem, Kai, and who else runs is Aaron Klein running?
It's those three. Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh no, how do they handle three people talking? It's they talk to each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like if I'm not around, they're still in a relationship.
Right.
And when we're all around, cool. It brings back that little yin yang. It brings balance to me.
Okay. You reminded me of a documentary / movie that my friend put me on, and I think you should check it out. It's called There's No I in Threesome. Seriously, it is like a doc. It's like a guy who films his experience as a man in an open relationship. And at the end, you just kind of, it's like a twist to it, but like it's really good. I'm not going to spoil anything. You got to watch it. It's on Max.
Okay, I got that. Okay, I will watch it. Please remind me.
I will.
I'll watch it and I will report back.
Yeah, please do, because I've been trying to get Kadeem to watch it for like a year and a half and he has not.
I'll watch that shit.
Okay.
Also, I have a memory issue.
You do?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna summarize this. I'm sorry, all the listeners. They've heard this shit a million times. Traumatic childhood, shitty memory. Probably weed since college, shitty memory, and then getting assaulted, got sucker punched in the back of the head during like 2020. It was.
Jesus, I think I heard this on maybe Kadeem's, because you said somebody was upset and wanted to go after the guy, but you didn't see the guy.
Oh yeah, my friend KJ. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy we didn't follow through on his
suggestion.
At the time.
Yeah,
because I think I even referenced the same movie. I think I referenced Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, you did.
But it felt like that. It felt like vengeance.
Yeah.
And I was still out of it. Like I wasn't. I just got lucky enough to be like, let's not. Because God only knows what would have happened if we had gone out to.
So this happened in
California.
Okay, I was gonna. Okay.
I was doing street stand up.
That's what I. Okay, so I did hear that. I was also multitasking today, working from home.
What was it like? Was it like from an outsider's perspective watching the podcast? Because I'm in it.
Yeah.
But like from your experience before doing it, what was it like?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I think for me, I also knew the person, so I was like assuming what I thought he was gonna say. So I think that I need to do better with like listening to another one. But I do like the format of like you talking and being in your space and like it being like, I don't know, just certain things that can kind of tell about you, but you're also talking to people that are different than you. And I like that because I feel like a lot of people are so caught up on like not liking someone because of their race or like them maybe not having money or like them being this kind of person or this religion. And it's like we're so busy focused on those things that we're not actually like having conversations like with people that like are different than us. And I don't like ignorance at all. I like talk to everybody, but if that person seems like I can also like feel people's spirits along a lot of the times. I don't know where that comes from, the black or the white side. I don't know.
We'll still get to that.
But I do feel like a lot of times like I can sense when people have bad intentions. I can sense when things are going to happen sometimes. Like, yeah, it's happened before.
Do you feel like that's part of the nurturing empath of you to feel out people's vibes? I get that. That's something that I also have to, because of the memory thing, I have to like feel out a vibe to see if I'm safe or if this is a place I should say certain things or whatever. And sometimes that always doesn't follow through.
Oh,
but
yeah. Because we're so open and you want to trust everybody. But
you want to. It doesn't always
yeah,
work.
because I work a second job. And, like, you know how, like, when you work a job, you trying to figure out who's fucking cool, who's not fucking cool, who smokes, you know, who's not a snitch.
You can't be like, hey, are you a snitch? Or
Yeah.
you can't.
Or, like, you got to kind of test the vibe. Or, or you just can't bring them around to everything. Like, you can't usually mix. Well, maybe you can mix work with fun, but sometimes, not always.
Yeah, I've made that mistake a few times.
Same.
But I describe it as kind of a Spidey sense. You seen Into the Spider-Verse?
I just watched that on the plane earlier this month.
First off, you're wrong for watching it on a plane. That is a big screen movie.
It was a great
It is
experience.
a great movie, but you need to see it.
I get anxious on planes. I needed this.
Fair enough. Okay. So you watched it on a plane?
Yes.
Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse?
Is Into the first one?
Into's the first one, Across is the second one.
I watched Across in the theaters, but I didn't watch the first one. So I watched it I'm so weird. I did not watch any superhero stuff until I dated Kadeem. He was Marvel, Spider-Man this, Batman
Found a
that.
good man.
Except the Batman shit, I could have went my whole life without seeing that 3-hour movie.
Which one? The Dark Knight?
The one that just happened.
Oh, the one with
Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Twilight.
So pre-Kadeem, you didn't know none of this.
Hell no.
What were you doing with your life?
Working.
Gross.
And, being toxic.
Yeah, Spider-Man. But you remember his Spidey's, the way
Yeah.
the way they it was in the first one. It there's a whisper. It says look out, and it's right before it happens. It feels to me what intuition feels like. But how do you describe intuition?
Sometimes intuition can be just you. For me, sometimes I'll get a sense of if something is out of the ordinary of somebody's routine. So say you're texting somebody. You text them every day or you FaceTime them every day at that time. Then one day happens, you don't hear anything from that person. And it's they know that you like talking to them. Or you could just feel things. I mean, if you're really in tune with someone, you can just kind of feel when things change. I think that's why people cheat in relationships, because sometimes people don't always sense the change, or they try to not overcompensate, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
Let's say you don't know the person. Have you ever met somebody and pretty quickly you were like, ooh, I don't want to be around you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I made that mistake a couple years ago. That bitch was crazy. I put my hands on her. That's not good.
I'm assuming you won.
I mean, we didn't fight. It was one of those things where I felt like that person was doing a lot of this. And I was in my vehicle. She was in the passenger seat. I was on the phone with somebody, and she inserted herself in the conversation, but was saying a lot of sexual nonsense that that wasn't really her. You could tell when somebody. That's what really irritates me about people. When people that are trying to be somebody that they're not in front of somebody else, that is my biggest pet peeve, and that's what upsets me. I smacked her like a child on her thigh. That's what I mean by put my hands on her. But
yeah,
it was a shut the fuck up kind of moment.
Yeah. I get you. Okay, I wrote this down. I swear I'm not gonna forget it.
Okay.
White mom.
Yeah.
First off, how did your dad feel about her bringing weed to you? Was he?
I mean, my mom got my dad to smoke for a while. I don't think he ever knew that, to be honest with you.
Until now, is he gonna watch this?
No, he ain't not. He's not. He's in a facility. That sounds like he's in jail. He's in, not a nursing home, but in between. Before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halfway.
No, he didn't go to jail. Somebody beat him up. I know, crazy.
Why?
My dad is something else. He's something else.
We can leave it there.
Yeah,
we'll leave it there.
Yes.
Okay. But your mom.
My mom, yes. So they actually got divorced last year. They had been married for 39 years. And they got divorced on the 39th year. Like, I think the pandemic was this has got to end, because my dad had strokes in 2020, but it kind of brought out like the worst parts of him. Like, when people have strokes, they change. Like, their brain just, you don't know, you're not the person you used to be. And
I have that in my life. I know.
Yeah. So like, he changed, but he also, like, it kind of felt like a lot of the things that were like under the surface kind of came out. And so when older people are older, they're set in their ways and they're not open to changing. That's just how that person is, or sometimes they get worse. That's why a lot of old people are so fucking grumpy. I've always wanted to work with older people, but I'm scared that, like, they're just gonna be like, Andrye, you're a piece of shit. Or, like, you could be doing better, because they feel so open to tell you things because of how shit went in their life. That's what I can't stand about old people. But I think it's the tone too. They have a good intention, but sometimes it's like, please keep it.
What was it? I guess in terms of, like, there's this stigma about white parents, white women in particular. I just had a whole discussion with James Fisher Jr. about white women. We can get into that.
We can. I don't know. My mom is different in a sense, and I know that like, she can be ignorant in some ways, but I think it's because of her generation. I wouldn't necessarily. She's also 65 years old. Like, she's not these newer white women that like fetishize over black men. I think that, like, she genuinely loved my dad. I hate when people say they don't see color, but I don't think she saw a sexy man that would happen to be black, and black men are sexy. Like, I've never dated a white man. I've never had sex with a white man. Like,
can I ask, what is it about black men that are sexy? Why? What is it about us?
I mean, that's all I've been around. So I don't know. I've never had the exposure to white men like that. I just always saw them as, like, colleagues.
I have a theory about this.
Go ahead, because I would like to know. I mean, I don't know. I do get mad sometimes when white women date black men, but I'm also like, maybe we could venture out too and date other races. Like,
I've tried. I'm tired. No, but here's my theory. I think every culture has their own version of masculinity. I think that, like, Hispanic or Latino culture, they have machismo, and that feels different. You know what I mean? I think black men, we have a swagger. Yeah. And I think white men are masculine. And that is, there's a different vibe with, and I can't speak to Asian men because
some of them are cute. I mean, not cute. That sounds like kids. Cute's for kids.
I feel bad because Asian men get the short end of the stick, where they are viewed as not sexual beings at all. But I don't have it, and because of that, I don't have a word. But that's my theory. And swagger is sexy.
But a lot of the dudes that I have had that are black, I've been attracted to them for their intelligence and their, like, nerdiness.
What is the appeal of that for you?
That we can have some dope ass conversations where we could change the world together. That's how I guess I look at things. Or
I mean, totally see why you're with Kadeem, by the way.
Because I think a lot of times there were guys that were good looking, that were fucking sexy. Whoa. And they were the most boring people ever. Yep. Like, they were like, but like, I could have went on a date with a frog, or like could have talked to a bird and just never did this, like looks aren't, I think, and beauty is just, different. Like, there's beauty in different things. Like, I find beauty in, like, just even humor. Like, I think that if you have the ability to make somebody laugh, like, that person could have had a shitty day, and the fact of, like, you being able to laugh and, like, share that moment together of, like that's fun. Like, I love that. Because I've been through a lot of shit in my life, so if you get the opportunity to, like, laugh with somebody, like, I love that. I like to smoke and talk to people, so this is up my alley. Like, I could do this all day, every day, and not work from home and fucking talk on the phone to people I don't fucking know and will never see in real life, or serve people food that, are, because that's what I do on the side. I serve and bartend. I just started bartending and stuff. So, like, talking to people, having a lot of stupid ass small talk about things, and you can tell when people, like, we had Oktoberfest at my job on fucking Sunday, and all these white people came out, and these old white German people in their lederhosens and the other thing that they wear, they sang Car Wash, and I said, well, that's an interesting choice to sing at Oktoberfest. And this white man was like, why is it interesting? The fuck do you mean, why is it interesting? It's interesting because shouldn't she be singing like some I don't know, some polka? I don't know.
Yeah, do whatever it is y'all do with the goats. Yeah, the Billy Goats.
Don't be singing Respect and Car Wash and My Girl by the Temptations.
It's funny, this podcast, and I've become less apologetic about it. Mm-hmm. This podcast gets racial all the time.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because I have black people on here and we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I think I'm realizing something about white people.
Okay.
And that is that and I don't, this is not a let you off the hook statement, but they truly aren't malicious in their ignorance. I
agree.
I will elaborate on this statement.
Okay,
as well.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I remember I used to argue with white people about this shit, and sometimes I get sucked in. But I've really done made a conscious decision to be like, you're not gonna listen. If you see men die in the street from cops on video all the time, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So
you're not gonna listen to my words. It's not gonna matter. But I remember I was in an argument with a white dude, and he was like, well, this is a political thing, and black people only complain about this when it's election season. And it's like, oh, you do not hang around black people.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the
time.
Everywhere we go, there's a thing that every time I go out, I have to take the fucking brown line through Wrigleyville. Yeah. There's a white woman staring at me looking angry, or I gotta interact with some goddamn Wisconsin hooligans who
oh my god, yeah, Wisconsin is definitely disgusting, but not in that way. Just like there's a lot of dairy, and dairy doesn't do well with me. But also just, I get what you mean, especially because it's like they feel like they don't need to get to know anybody else because they have their community around them, and it's always going to be that. But also too, just damn, I had my thought and it ran away. I hate that.
I can keep talking.
Go ahead. It's going to come back.
Okay. Well, as soon as it comes back, just interrupt me.
Okay.
But I was in talking with James and bringing up race over and over again, one of the things that keeps getting brought up is like white women in particular.
They got it. I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not down when it's time to be down, but they're down when it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because I'm a product of a white woman and a black man. So I see, I guess, balance or harmony in both sides or whatever. But there are times where I'm like, that's super disgusting when white women fetishize black men. But it's also super disgusting when there's black men that are also fetishizing. I can't say fetishize.
It's a tough one.
Because I dated someone in college.
Yeah.
And we were on our off part. And he talked about how he was only talking to this white girl because it's like,
because she's white.
That it was like the,
it's like a prize.
The prize, but also like, what was it? You remember when people say I'm ready to get my 40 acres and a mule, like type shit? Like that's what he meant. Like, oh, this is payback. And it's like now you're looking at people as payback, and I think that's kind of disgusting.
I gotta speak to that.
Go ahead.
Do you listen to Kendrick?
Yeah.
Did you hear his new? Ooh,
not like that. It was really long.
Yeah,
I will say that, and it broke the internet. It broke Apple Music.
It was a whole thing. But you remember when he did the song, one of this early, I think it's early in the album, where he's like, the first time I fucked a white bitch, I was yada yada yada.
Yeah.
He felt like I'm getting something back.
Yeah.
I'm taking some sort of power back.
Yeah.
I felt that I did when I was younger. I had that. I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like. I feel like karma is already kind of doing its thing.
Yes, but when you're in it,
I guess. But I came out of it, so I don't.
I'm realizing, I'm learning from this podcast too, and talking to people. People's environments really affect them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but so I used to do that. It's fun. I used to do that when I was younger, and I'm in retrospect. It's like, oh, that's because I was surrounded by white people telling me that white women are important.
Yeah.
I remember,
even your mom, like she said, white women were important.
No,
okay,
my
okay.
mom, no.
Okay,
no,
okay,
no.
okay.
Oh no, my mom's a lot of things.
Okay.
She ain't no coon. I'll tell you that, goddamn it. But you know what? You remember when you were a kid and you believe something, but everyone else is like adults are telling you something, and even though you don't believe it, it's an adult, so you're like, I guess I'll listen to you. You're an adult.
Yeah.
That was what it was. I never there are white women that are attractive.
Of course.
Women are fucking attractive, right?
Of
like
course.
women are attractive.
Fine as fuck.
But internally, I never really thought like white women were all that. I think they're just the people around me.
Yeah.
But the way movies would present white women.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God. If they had the glamour shots and they were presented as better than everyone. And so you end up thinking like, I guess you're of higher value.
True.
And what's happened over time and over life experience for me and finally fucking getting away from Riverside and being around mostly black people all the time is like, oh, okay. I didn't actually find that person attractive. I just was told I was, and this is what works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with my dad always clowning my mom for like her booty being flat and shit, and she left her ass on the dresser and shit like that. Like, so I grew up with like my dad being like super like.
Yeah.
So I guess with white women, I view them differently just because like my mom's Caucasian, and you know I love my mama. I know she can be ignorant sometimes, but I think that's just because she genuinely probably does just not know.
Yeah. Do you feel like how is your relationship with like black people as a whole light skin, dark skin?
Oh God. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I feel like colorism makes me sad because like for me, like my family just looks different all the way. Like my white side does not really exist, I guess you could say, because not exist, but like I don't keep in contact for real like that. Like my mom only had a sister. Like she grew up with two sisters, but one of her sisters passed when she was like younger. So her sister died when the sister was 9, so that's pretty young. And so my dad had 4 siblings, so they had kids, cousins, but like within the black, like my black side, what I learned from like my family again is kind of like toxic, of like the matriarch of the family. Like my grandmother was the one that kept the family together, and then once she passed, it kind of broke up the family unit. So I'm used to like being divided, or like not necessarily being with knowing who my family is, being around black people all my life, but it's just been different throughout my life. Like I've always been around so many different people because I guess the schools that I went to, they weren't all black or they weren't all white. Like it was everybody. And I made sure of that, like for my high school and for where I went to college too.
Were you considered like really likable growing up?
Fuck yeah. I would say so. Maybe not. I don't know. Fuck yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
All right, I got like 2 more things left, and then I will leave you to your life. Well, first off, I'm very happy to actually sit and talk with you. It's also know when I'm out in the world, I will probably still be like I gotta So just that's me. Kyron's gotten used to it for sure. I love Kyron.
He's dope.
Okay. Shrooms. Have you taken shrooms?
I've always wanted to, but I feel like they never work for me.
Have you? Wait. I've always wanted to, but I feel like they never work. Have you?
I've done them, but they don't work. They're like
taken?
laxatives for me. They just run through my booty. I've done acid before.
Okay.
I've done acid twice. And the first time I did it, it was cool, but it was also, I didn't do it with the right people.
there's a story there. You don't
Yeah.
just.
I did acid with 3 men, and I had 2 friends. That was a girl and my best friend in the house. So 4 of us were on acid. 2 of us were not. The other 2 did know that I was, but the guys that I did it with was a guy that I was friends with at the time and his friends. And it was just, I was doing my own thing. I was like, this shit ain't working. And then I started cleaning my house.
Oh, shit.
Did it die?
No, hold on a second. This is going to be weird for the audience, but whatever. I agree. Yeah, we're good. I agree taking some time helps from stand-up, but it's hard for me to, it's just hard. It gives me anxiety. But I made a decision okay, I'm going to chill. Mm-hmm. And so after this, I'm going to go to get pizza, and I'm going to draw. I'm just going to go out to the city and draw.
Good.
Just chill, be a person.
Where do you get pizza from?
Oh, goddamn. My favorite spot is Dobro's, but I'm not going all the way down to downtown to get pizza.
Shit.
There's one Zaza, which is near Laugh Factory.
Okay.
Blaze near Laugh Factory. I might go there.
Don't go to Blaze. Blaze is so basic.
It's super basic.
It is. That's the Chipotle of pizza.
It truly is like Subway of pizza. Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, I'm just gonna be a person. I'm really trying to be a person sometimes, and that's what I'm doing.
You gotta be, because that's how you show up. You show up as a person, and not just you gotta remember that the people that you're, I guess, performing for are people too.
Yeah.
And a lot of your content is for people, and it's making them laugh and having a good time. And so sometimes just remembering that, because I think sometimes we get so in our head that we forget to have fun when we're on stage, and they're there to have fun too.
I'm with you. Also, now I got more shit to say.
Okay.
I wanna work on talking about this triad shit on stage, because I think that's an interesting piece of me, but I don't know how to approach it without it coming off weird.
Okay.
And from your perspective, from another comic's perspective, and from a woman's perspective, what do you think? How do you think I should approach that?
I think definitely not in a douchey way. Because that's the only thing I could think of. That's if I was to hear oh, well, I want 2 women, one for cooking, one for cleaning, you know? Okay. If I heard that, I'd be like, the fuck? You know?
Okay.
But make it, I guess, clever. Because, I guess I like clever comedy. I like clever comedy.
Yeah.
I'm not a dry gal. Well, some dry stuff I don't really like. But maybe because I'm not dry.
No, not at all. Are you ready for the last?
Yeah.
This is the most random ass podcast. Okay, so pretend the camera's you in 5 years.
Okay.
And you can say whatever you want to yourself 5 years from now. What do you want to say to yourself?
Oh, shit. That don't forget what makes you happy. Don't forget to make time for your friends. Don't forget to make time for the people that love you. Continue to do what makes you happy. I think I said that already. And always make goals, set goals. You don't have to worry about what other people want you to do. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and you're gonna be just fine. Everything is gonna be okay. Whatever you want and need is gonna be there. Maybe not when you want it to be, but it's gonna be right on time.
Let's take this picture.